My name is John William Blaney. I am an MSFS'er of 1975. I am currently a businessman and a consultant and a retired U.S. ambassador. I was teaching at West Point as an Army officer my last tour of duty in the early 70s, and I decided that I was going to enlist in the State Department. I didn't know that you couldn't drive down to Washington and do that. I announced that to my plebes that I was teaching, so I went down and they were very nice to me at the State Department, but explained that it was a little more complex than that. One of the things they said was that there's a number of fine institutions around town that could help you get the advanced learning that you need to have a better chance on the exam and become a Foreign Service officer or do other activities professionally in foreign affairs, and one of them is Georgetown. So I literally drove from the State Department over to Georgetown and walked into Healy Hall and started to poke around and try to figure out what I could do to get into this place. And that's how I got started. My favorite memory would have to be, of course, meeting my future wife, Robin Blaney, who is still active in the State Department. My career can be divided into two segments: the public service segment, which is the longest, and then the private sector one that I'm currently in, which is not as long. I was more than 30 years in public service. What I'm most proud of, I would have to say, would be in that public segment. And my time as U.S. Ambassador in Liberia, we ended the Civil War, a 14-year Civil War that had cost hundreds of thousands of lives on the battlefield. I'm proud of my time as a U.S. arms control negotiator for nuclear weapons. I was the principal author of the Nuclear Risk Reduction Centers Agreement between the U.S. and the Soviet Union. This was the first arms control agreement in the Reagan administration, and that agreement is the one that prevents accidental nuclear wars. And I put an expansion clause on my own so that it would have a broader mandate. And that mandate allowed it to expand to be the principal nexus for coordinating verification communications for all arms control agreements like START and INF and many, many others. Lastly, I would say my time with Nelson Mandela when I was Charge d'Affaires in South Africa. We worked on HIV/AIDS a lot. We worked on stopping wars like Burundi. The School of Foreign Service and the Master's program, which is what I was in, comes at learning from an interdisciplinary way. When you matriculate upward in your career, what you'll find out is being a specialist helps you get started, but the people who go on to lead, whether it's in the private sector or in the government, are the ones that can see across that entire spectrum, who are kind of globalists or polymaths. And they have a holistic way of looking at problems so that they can create strategies that will actually work against what are increasingly complex problems in the 21st century.